And let's find a nice comfy seat. So just allowing your body to settle here. Maybe let the eyes close, the spine get nice and tall. Maybe palms face up, maybe palms face down, but some relaxation across the shoulder girdle. There's this potter and this potter's apprentice who are about waist deep in this river. And they're alternating, kind of bending down into the river and submerging their torso. And while they're down there, they're scraping this very pure clay that has become sediment at this particular little basin in this river. We'll give ourselves just 30 more seconds. Just to breathe and experience the body here. And then from wherever we are, let's allow the eyes to open if they are closed and just find our way into a little forward fold. This can be a supported forward fold. So if you're seated with legs crossed, you could use the arms as kind of kickstands. If you have the legs out in front of you, you can put the hands on the thighs. You can go to as deep as the body feels comfortable here too. Just finding our way to soften and breathe. We'll give ourselves about 15 more seconds here. And when it feels appropriate, let's bring ourselves back up into a seat and extend our legs out in front of us. Little quick staff. Just feeling the body in staff here. A lot of times we get into staff and it's pretty uncomfortable. So think about what you need to do to make your staff more comfortable. If the knees are bent or if the feet are flat on the ground, allow that to be adjustments that you make. Really think about how you can get into a shape where you can be at ease. And then just once you find that ease, whatever that is, whether the feet are flat or whether the legs are fully extended, let's just turn towards the left. So all we're doing is establishing a vertical spine and then just giving a nice rotation. We're not forcing the rotation here. We're not assisting the rotation here, just rotating and keeping the spine vertical. And breathing into that rotation, just kind of feeling what adding some torsion energy to the spinal column feels like. And then we'll relax back to neutral. And as you come back to neutral, think about unwinding that torsion so that you find a neutrality in the musculature. And then let's just move our way forward into fold. Again, looking for ease here. So adjusting the body in a way where this shape feels easy, even if forward folding doesn't generally feel easy. Try to continue to modify until you find some level of ease. Give ourselves 30 more seconds here. So this potter and this apprentice have this big kind of basket, a wicker basket. We'll walk ourselves back up to our version of staff. Remember that the knees can be fully bent here, that we're just trying to find a place where our body can rest with a vertical spine. And then we're going to turn to the right. So they have this wicker basket. And as they're scooping this clay out of this bottom of the river, so it's very wet, they're putting it in a wicker basket. And while the clay sits in the wicker basket, the moisture is able to drip out. The thing that's really, really unique about this clay, coming from this particular spot in this particular river, is how pure it is. But not only how pure it is in forms of texture, in forms of actual clay percentage. We'll relax back to neutral. And once again, try to feel your body completely unwind. It's easy to have a little bit of residual twist when we come back to a relative neutral. Try to find a true neutral, and then we'll find our forward fold. Looking for ease once again. And so it's not just that it's a pure texture and clay quality. It's that this clay is remarkably white, remarkably uncolored. And so it makes this truly beautiful, finished, kiln-fired pottery pieces. And so they spend a lot of time in this area harvesting as much of this clay as possible. It's not easy. But this potter has a particular project that she is very interested in. And her apprentice is learning the detailed intricacies of working with this particular material. Last 10 seconds here. And when it feels appropriate, let's bring ourselves back up towards a vertical spine, and we're going to transition to hands and knees tabletop. A little bit of atypical sequencing here, right? We've started out with a lot of forward folds. Now we're going to move and articulate the spine. So try to find some more space. So as you exhale out, press down into the hands, bow out into the shoulders, round into the middle of the back, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. Think about the energy down into the hands, like we did last week, where we're really trying to push the earth away from us and use that energy to build the apex of the curvature of the spine. And then let's relax, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the chin. And here, try to soften, maybe even take a 5%, maybe 3 to 5% bend to the elbows and broaden out, not just the shoulder girdle, but think of the pec major, pec minor tissue pulling open as if the sternum itself was getting wider. And then we'll reverse, bring the strength back into the arms, push down into the hands, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. Use that energy like you're trying to push the earth away from you to really build the apex of the arch. And then let's reverse. Lift the tailbone, lift the chin, drop the belly. Bring that little bit of facing the elbow pits towards one another and then offering that softness of the elbows so that as the elbow pits face one another, when we soften the elbows, the arm structure gets wider, almost like we have really bad form on a push-up. And then let's relax back to neutral. And once again, think about building that true neutral, not just the memory of neutral, but finding actual neutral. And then let's sink back into child's pose. And as we settle back into this child's pose, we allow the body to relax, to be at ease. We'll give ourselves 30 more seconds here. And when it feels appropriate for you, let's pull ourselves forward to hands at knees tabletop. We're going to grab our blanket, our ball, and a wall. And blanket's just going to go, ball is going to go inside the blanket, little taco that we fold over. That's going to be for our neck. So we're going to work on the neck and legs up the wall here. So as we get to the wall, just bring your hips up against and kicking up so that you're nice and supported and hopefully at ease. All right, trying to recreate the easeful shape we found in forward fold, and then tucking that ball somewhere in the cervical spine. So you have the blanket so the ball can't run away. And then as we just tuck that blanket ball taco underneath our cervical spine, that can be in the middle, can be at the base of the skull, it can be at the base of the cervical spine itself. But finding a spot that feels really supportive of the neck. And then remember, your feet can be flat against the wall here. You do not need to have the legs extended upward. I guess the legs are going to be extended upward in some way, right? But they don't need to be straight. Just we're looking for softness. And so the vision that this potter has, she's going to create this piece out of this incredibly white clay, this pure clay, this piece that engages with the senses, all of the senses. And so the concept is kind of this dual cylindrical, almost this U-shaped piece with two cylinders that go upward at different heights. And she's filling the concept here is to fill the base of this U with different herbs that will release this experience for the olfactory senses. It will obviously have this stunning visual quality to it. And she's going to finish uh, with a clear, smooth glaze so that it will shimmer in the appropriate lighting. And so when you touch it, it it will feel as soft as silk. And then this final piece, the way that she's envisioning building the rim of the two cylinders, is so that as wind, as air moves over the tops of these, they will emit this frequency, an auditory sound. This is a piece she's been thinking about, dreaming about for years. One of the challenges is because this particular clay is so hard to harvest, she's never had enough material. And so now that she has an apprentice, they're out in the river and they're just working day after day after day to gather enough material to make this possible. But of course, now that she has an apprentice, it's not just about gathering enough material for her project. They need to gather enough material for both of their projects. And so as they're filling up these wicker baskets, they have this idea in mind. Each of them is going to build something from this raw clay. Now, you may be happy with exactly where you are, but little opportunity here. If you want to take the legs out wide, opportunity to do so. This, for most of us, adds a pretty additional challenge, a significant challenge. I know for me, this is legs wide is one of my weaker flexibility positions. It puts a ton of posterior and medial chain strain on the hamstrings. It also asks a ton of the hips. And so if taking the legs wide isn't the appropriate thing for you, don't feel like this is a necessary thing. Just finding a shape that is advantageous for you is the key. Maybe an opportunity here to check in on your neck positioning or the ball/neck positioning. And if you want to change, tweak, or adjust that, or if it is providing you maximum benefit right where it is. one of the other challenges that they have, or that this potter has in building this project, is the way in she's envisioning this U-shaped structure, and the way that she wants this to be a part of the community means it needs to be large. And that means that they needed to expand the size of their kiln. And so her and her apprentice, they built a completely new kiln structure. And while it was designed with this project in mind, it will obviously allow for more capacity in the future. And so it'll be an advantageous thing for both of them. But it was a remarkable amount of work. And they have to go through trials and tests because they're building a kiln from scratch. And so they go through a couple of different iterations. They finally get the thing the way they want it, the way that it delivers consistent heat from top to bottom. And they finally have enough material. And so both of them kind of set out on this particular day to build these like masterpieces. You know, like all skills, when you create your masterpiece, it's the masterpiece for that time, right? You're likely to continue to get better as you continue to add experience. But when you set out to create something, you want to create it to the best of your ability at that moment in time. And so each of them do this. And each of them truly creates something that is beyond their initial desire. They create the thing that they wanted to create to perfection. Give ourselves about 60 more seconds here. And so when they've thrown these pieces, they very carefully, working with each other, bring them over to the kiln. And they very carefully set each piece in this new giant kiln that they built. And they get the temperature up to the appropriate space, and they go home for the night, and both of them are exhausted. Not that there's a lot of physical work in the creation of these projects, but there is a ton of energetic work, and then emotional challenge, not only in throwing the pieces, but in moving the pieces from pottery wheel to kiln. It is a harrowing experience for both of them. And they go home, and they come back the next morning, and both of their pieces fired in the kiln perfectly. And they are elated, and they kind of come together in this embrace, and they hug, and they're so happy about what they've created, and they're so happy for one another. And the potter turns to her apprentice, and she just says, you've done such a wonderful job. I'm so proud of you. And now it's time to put these pieces on display. And so they have this plan for putting these on display as well. Last 10 seconds here. I might have given us a little bonus time. When it feels appropriate, we can bring our legs back together if they're wide. And then just slowly bring the legs down so that you allow for blood flow, knees bend, thighs close to the torso, maybe a little squeeze. And then we'll let the knees fall to one side or the other, whatever side feels most appropriate for you. And we'll just pause here for a moment, just allow the body to receive the work we've done. And we're going to press ourselves up, and we'll return to our mat if we're off the mat. Find a little staff for a moment. Have your ball and your blanket handy. Actually, let's do this. Let's take our blanket from shelf fold, go unfold the towel length and roll that. And we'll offer the legs a little bit of a recoup here. So knees bend, blanket comes over the top of the ankles, tuck that in, let the bottoms of the feet come together. Clasp onto the toe mounds for a moment and just find your way forward. So that we just have a little torso tilt and just a pause here, just to feel a little bit of a different energy. And then when it feels appropriate, let's lift our way back to vertical and lower ourselves onto our spine. So bottoms of the feet stay together. You have that blanket to support you here, and we can just be at ease. And this should truly be a moment of ease. Try to feel the sacrum lumbar union as just relaxing and just softening into the mat. And so the initial idea for displaying these two pieces of pottery was to have them encased in glass. But the potter built something that has an olfactory experience, that has an auditory experience, that has a touch experience. And so they scrapped that idea. And they just mount these things on these two pedestals in front of the shop. And so they trust the community to interact with these pieces without damaging them. And the community does. Both the apprentice piece and the potter's piece are equally displayed. But the community is overwhelmed by the beauty of this potter's piece, this U-shaped vessel that hums in the wind and emits these beautiful fragrances, that is softer than silk to touch. And so as people come to experience these two works of art, the apprentice's piece, while it's beautiful, it gets ignored. And this is a crushing experience for the apprentice, something that he was not prepared for. He truly built something to the absolute best of his ability. But he is the apprentice, and she is this master potter. And so as the days go by and more people come to look at this master potter's work, the apprentice grows more and more resentful. And there becomes an obvious friction in their relationship. One night, deep late into the night, the master potter is in her workshop. And she sees someone outside, and it's way too late into the night for anyone to be out. She just kind of got caught up in some things, and so she's there in the middle of the night, just kind of by chance. And she notices that her apprentice is outside, kind of looking at her pottery piece. She thinks that's interesting. And then he pushes the piece off the pedestal and it falls to the ground and shatters. And she screams out, and the apprentice, like, eyes go huge. He did not expect anyone to be in the shop. And the two meet eyes, and the apprentice runs off. And she goes outside to find her, like, true masterpiece shattered on the walkway in front of her shop. Pay attention to again, bring your attention back to the sacrum lumbar union and try to think about finding a true neutral there. Slow down the way your body is respirating here. We'll give ourselves 60 more seconds just to feel neutral. It feels appropriate for you. We're going to bring our knees back to neutral, and we can just remove that prop from our space and extend our legs straight down the mat. Think about feeling this really linear expression of your body here. And then flex into your right quad so that the right leg becomes rigid. You don't need to flex so it hurts. We just want the right leg to become rigid. And then we're going to take our left leg out to the left as far as we can comfortably get it. And then let the left toes point up towards the space behind us. Again, this is about comfort. So if that turns out to not be that much, that's totally fine. We're just looking for a little external rotation. If we go out and maybe we're running perpendicular with the body, that's where we end up. Wherever we end up, we end up. And then you can relax the right leg. And we're just going to add a little bit of breath work here. So that as we inhale and we fill the lungs, when the lungs get full, we're going to hold that for maybe a 3 to 5 count. And then as we exhale, at the end of the exhale, we're going to pause and we're going to hold with the lungs empty for like a 3 to 5 count. You maybe want to do it shorter, you maybe want to do it longer, whatever works with your respiration. But at the end of each inhale and at the end of each exhale, we're going to pause and hold. And really feel how your body reacts to the pause, but then to the restart of your breath on both ends of the cycle. Can you find more space within your body through the way you're respirating? This master potter is devastated by what has happened. She does not understand what has happened, but she sweeps up the shards of this pottery. And they're sharp and they're jagged and they're dangerous. But she sweeps up every piece. And she takes them back inside her shop and she locks the doors and she draws the blinds. And the next morning, when people come, they see her shop closed up. They see the empty pedestal where her work of art had once stood. And they see the apprentice's piece. And everyone still kind of ignores the apprentice's piece. But rumors start to spread about what happened. Last 45 seconds here. And pretty soon the whole town knows that the apprentice destroyed this master potter's work of art. And people start to see her leave the shop late at night, and her hands are bloody. And they understand that she's been interacting with these shards that they're like glass. These ceramic shards. And the people of this community start to feel really, really bad for what has happened. When it feels appropriate, we'll bring our left leg back in line with the right so that we recreate this linear shape. But once again, don't just allow the movement to find neutral or to have this passive experience of neutral. Think about what you need to do to fully create neutrality in the body. And then once you feel like you've done that, we're going to flex the left quad so that the left leg becomes rigid. And we'll take the right leg out as far as we can comfortably get it. And then the toes point up towards the space behind us. And again, this may be really easy for you. This may be really difficult for you. All we're looking to do is find some space where we can get the external rotation, where we can pull that medial line, just a little bit of awakening there. Or we can just try to make the next time that we take our legs out wide in a forward-esque fold shape a little bit easier on our body. And so at first it's days where this potter is behind these closed blinds, and days turn to weeks. And people start to get more and more worried about the psychological destruction that destroying this perfect work of art has caused on this beloved artist in this community. And she starts to spend less and less time in the community and more time locked away in her shop in isolation. People see her even less than they did at the start of this problematic time. And now the rumors start to travel through the community that she's losing her mind. That the destruction of this particular work was so painful that she may not recover. And the apprentice hears about this and he feels good. Like the pain that he experienced was truly replicated on her. And we're going to add that pause in our breath here. So as we inhale in, we hold the lungs for 3 to 5 seconds. Maybe it's a little less for you. Maybe it's a little more for you. Then same thing on the exhale. If the lungs empty, we pause for 3 to 5 seconds. Maybe it's a little more, maybe it's a little less, but whatever feels like it's the most impactful for you. You see if you can use your respiration to create space. We'll give ourselves 60 more seconds here. Just feeling the way your respiration is impacting the shape. When it feels appropriate for you, we'll bring our right leg back in line with the body and recreate this sense of neutrality once again. think about truly feeling neutral. Notice how the sacrum itself feels after those long asymmetrical holds. And try to find balance. And then when it feels appropriate, we'll pull both thighs in towards the torso and give ourselves a nice little squeeze. Really feel our way into this compression. And then maybe it feels appropriate for you to find a happy baby, hands to the lateral edges of the feet, maybe the ankles, maybe the calves. See if it feels okay to point the feet more towards the ceiling or sky here. And see if you can feel a symmetrical balance in the way your body is expressing the shape, particularly in the hip space. And then we'll release our feet back down to the mat and heel toe the feet out to the width of the mat. Let the knees fall in towards one another. And just try to let your whole spine relax. Particularly lumbar to sacrum union. Just being at ease. Give ourselves 30 more seconds here. When it feels appropriate for you, knees come out to the width of the mat, and then heel toe your way back into hip width. And ask yourself if there's anything that you want, need, or would benefit from prior to Shavasana. If there is, let's offer that to ourselves now. And when you have everything you want, when you have everything you need, let's find our way into a shape where we can fully and deeply appreciate stillness. So the community starts to gather together. They start to worry so deeply about the psychology of this potter that a group of them form, and they're going to go over and physically pull her out of this space that she's locked herself into for months now. And so they gather in town center and they devise a plan, and then they head over to her shop. As you are ready here, just fully and deeply releasing into your version of stillness. And so just as the group is about to start prying open the door to this woman's pottery studio, she swings open the door. And now this group is just standing there, and she's holding this perfectly round vase. And it has this incredible glaze on it. And she holds it in the sun, and the sun hits it and it sparkles. And she takes this round vase and she drops it. And it smacks against the concrete. And it doesn't break. And everyone's just their jaws drop open. We'll start to bring some movement to our fingers and our toes. And she picks it up, she holds it higher, and she drops it again, and same thing. It doesn't break. Movement into your wrists and your ankles. And she picks it up again and she slams it down. And again, it doesn't break. She picks it up and it sparkles exactly as it did the first time when she opened the door. Moving into your elbows and your knees, your shoulders and your hips. And so this woman had taken this masterpiece and she ground it up with mortar and pestle by hand, taking these dangerous shards and ground them down into a fine powder. Movement into your shoulders, hips, neck, head, jaw, eyes, tongue. And she reconstituted this powder into a glaze that she placed on this new perfectly round vase. This glaze that made this vase unbreakable. Movement throughout your body, and allow that movement to help you transition from the shape you're in back into a seat. And so all of these people had been so worried that the destruction of her masterpiece had destroyed her. And she turned that masterpiece into something unbreakable. Let your spine get tall, breath get fluid, eyes close. And with your next inhale, let's bring your hands together, heart center. Over the course of the next 7 days, can you remind yourself that the wounded may bleed over the shards of broken pasts, but the wise grind up those shards and turn them into an unbreakable future, and see how that impacts your experience. Thank you so much for being a part of this morning's practice and for being you. Namaste. Happy Sunday, guys. Appreciate the heck out of you being here. Thanks for taking care of yourself. I'll be back tomorrow night to move. Have a beautiful rest of your day if I see you tomorrow. And if I see you next week, have a beautiful week. Mwah.